psychiatrists, taking you inside the conversations that shape our mental health. From stress, relationships, and parenting to workplace balance, youth challenges, and mental disorders. Every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m., Dr. Gilliard brings expert insights, real stories, and practical tools you can use. Tune in for Mind Matters on Rev-Up St. Lucia, because at Rev-Up 95.9 FM, your mind matters.
Mind Matters with Dr. Julius Gilliard, brought to you the compliments of Forsyth.
Mental health is the foundation of our well-being, yet too often it's overlooked. At Forsyth Mental Health Solutions, our team, led by a licensed psychiatrist, provides personalized assessments and treatments for depression, anxiety, psychosis, dementia, and more, bringing expertise, compassion, and solutions that make a real difference. We also provide forensic psychiatry assessments, mental capacity evaluations, and workplace training and seminars, giving organizations the tools to support employee mental wellness. For more information or to schedule a consultation, visit us at the Top-Ear Hospital, New Wing, Castries. Call 459-2234, send a WhatsApp message to 584-9498, or email us at forsych.mhs@gmail.com. That's forepsych.mhs@gmail.com. Our professional staff will be more than willing to assist you. Visit Forsyth Mental Health Solution and let us build a future where mental health is prioritized. Because when minds thrive, so do people.
It's now time for the final Mind Matters for 2025, hosted by Dr. Julius Gilliard. Dr. Gilliard, a very good morning to you.
And good morning, Andre. Good morning, St. Lucia, and everyone across the region and online. So this is Mind Matters, and I'm your host, Dr. Julius Gilliard. This episode is a special one. It's our final program for the year 2025. And as we head into Christmas and New Year's, and I guess everything that December brings, I want to spend this hour exploring something simple, yet profoundly powerful, and that is connection. Human connection, and it's the relationships that hold us together and protect our mental health, especially during the holiday season. Now, every December we see the advertisements filled with happy families, gifts, food, people laughing around tables, around Christmas trees, and so on. But for many, the reality is very different. So this is one of the loneliest times of the year for thousands of people, and we don't talk about that enough.
Yeah. In fact, now that you mention that, it reminds me of a story I read many years ago in Jamaica, where you have people who are incarcerated and they have no visitors.
Exactly. So globally, studies show that between 25 to 30% of adults actually feel more lonely or emotionally strained during the holiday season.
And you know, I think there's a special program that I was reading about in the Jamaica case, where they invite family members to come in for this really special occasion for Christmas. And they had to really make an effort to remember those inmates who have no visitors all year round, okay, and to make sure that they're well taken care of at that time.
Yeah, kudos to them for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, and Andre, you see, loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's actually a risk factor for poor mental health, for depression, for anxiety, even for physical illnesses.
When you say what do you mean?
It's a risk factor. So just being lonely is a risk factor for poor mental health.
Oh, okay, I get you.
And here in St. Lucia, we have our own layers. So people living abroad, far from family, people who lost loved ones, people who feel disconnected, and I always hear people talking about they don't like people and they don't like to be among people, but that in itself is a risk factor for mental illness. So even people under financial pressure, that one.
That's a big one.
Yes. And people trying to pretend that everything is fine. But today I want to remind persons that connection is medicine. So real human connection, that is. And that is one of the strongest protective factors for our mind and our well-being. So So I guess for the next hour, we're going to explore the psychology around it, the science, and the lived experience. And I guess persons will call in to give their experiences about it. And probably will give some practical strategies for cultivating connection this holiday season, whether you're surrounded by people or spending Christmas in a quieter, more reflective way. Yeah? So let's talk about why connection matters so deeply. There was a Harvard study done on adult development, and that is one of the longest running studies on happiness, spanning over 85 years, I think it is. And what they found is that the strongest predictor of long-term health and happiness was not money, not education, not career success, or even physical health. It is the quality of our relationships. Yeah? Not the number of people we know, not the size of our social media following, but the depth, the warmth, stability of the connections in our lives.
In other words, you could have millions of followers,
Yes.
and yet still be lonely.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure a lot of persons can relate to that, because some persons will say, I'm in a crowd, or I'm with my family, or with my partner, or with my friends, and I still feel lonely inside. It's because the relationships are not quality relationships. So the thing about it is, biologically, when we feel connected, our brains release oxytocin. Now, those of us in the medical field know that oxytocin has to do with when the mother gives birth, stimulating breast milk and so on. But it has other, uses. So in human beings, oxytocin is a bonding hormone. Yeah, and if you have to look into maternal care, after a baby is born, they put the baby to the mother's breast so that that bonding can occur, and that happens through the release of oxytocin in the mother. Yeah, so that is just doing that creates an initial bond between mother and baby. And oxytocin, what it does is that it lowers cortisol. That is a stress hormone. And what that does is that it improves our emotion regulation. Connected people sleep better, they recover faster from stress, and they have stronger immune function.
When you say connected persons, you mean connected to what?
Yeah, persons who feel connected, so who have quality relationships and feel connected in their relationships.
Sorry. Just explain what you mean by feel connected. What does that mean?
Yeah, so what that means is that the person feels safe in a relationship that they have with another person. Because you can be in a relationship, but you don't feel safe, so you don't feel connected.
Safe meaning that from abuse?
Yeah, that they can be their true selves. They don't have to hide who they are. They don't have to put on a show. They don't have to pretend.
Or walk on eggshells.
All of that. Yeah?
I'm glad you made that point. That's really, really important, Dr. Gilead. Yes.
I see you smiling. You have a story to tell?
I have many stories.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a big one. Yeah. That's a big one, to feel connected. You can, as you said, be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we have so many stories of persons who have to walk on eggshells in the relationships that they're in. From children who have to walk on eggshells around their family, their parents.
Yes.
In the workplace, it can happen as well. You have bullying in the workplace. And when you walk in, you have to be careful what you say, who you look at, whether you say good morning or not, where you sit, what you eat, and so on, because the tension is there. So there's no connection in those environments, or the persons feel disconnected, and that can happen with chronic loneliness. So chronic loneliness in itself has shown to increase the risk of early mortality by over 25%, comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Oh my! What?
Yes. So that's how powerful connection is. And I mean, here in the Caribbean, even in St. Lucia, connection has always been part of who we are. So I'm sure you grew up hearing your mother or your grandmother calling somebody Makume, or everybody's your auntie, or that the neighborhood, the whole community raised the child, because it doesn't happen again. So everybody looked out for each other, and so there was a lot of connection. I mean, growing up, I remember us in the neighborhood, all the boys in the neighborhood, and even the girls getting together to play on a regular basis. I don't see that happening again, Andre.
That is true.
Yes, something really has changed. And what happened is that we are more digitally connected than ever.
And it's possible, and let me just get your take on that, because that just came to my mind. a lot of these things that we don't do anymore, there's these connections and so on. A lot of that stuff, do you think a lot of that stuff happens among gang members?
Yeah, well, not in that sense, but you see, like I said earlier on, human beings are wired for connection. Well, I don't think I said it yet, but we human beings are wired for connection, and in the absence of that, we go seeking for it. Yeah, so that's why gangs are formed, because it's persons who don't feel connected in their home environments or in their communities, and so they seek out a place where they feel that they belong. So connection is basically feeling like you belong to that group, and so they would.
As you were saying a while ago,
yes.
It's like a safe space.
A safe space, yes. Yes, so
you feel that you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we don't see that happening anymore. So families are more digitally connected. So you have a lot of children and adults on the phone and disconnected from each other. You have families are separated by migration. Many people are actually grieving silently. And you have many households under pressure, financial pressure and otherwise. And many people will smile through Christmas while hurting inside. Yeah. Today, what I want to do is offer hope. Connection is not just about having a big family or big family gathering. It's about small moments that remind us that we belong.
So let me ask you, Dr. Gilead, why is it that around Christmas time there seems to be more of that need for connection and so on?
Yes, because I guess it's what we see. So there's a lot of there's a media blitz about showing families together under a Christmas tree, caroling, and all of those other scenes that we are bombarded with, and so that we are reminded that connection is important. And so those of us who don't have that connection, the loneliness sets in. Yeah, and there are lots of challenges that actually make the holidays emotionally complicated. So the loneliness, like I said, is in a season that demands happiness. Yeah, December brings a lot of pressure to be joyful, to be grateful, to be festive, and for many that pressure makes loneliness even heavier.
I understand.
Yeah, so people feel ashamed actually to say I'm struggling. Yeah, and there's some financial stress as well. Many people overspend trying to prove love or to avoid disappointing others.
Yeah, the Christmas tree with all the presents.
Yeah, so there's the emotional weight of debt, because you have to go take a loan to buy this or to buy that, to replace the chairs or to replace the fridge or to replace the other furniture in the house, which I mean I don't think is needed, but it's basically an expectation that is placed upon us. Then you have family conflict. So December gatherings can reopen old wounds.
How so?
In families where you have you've had conflict or unresolved conflict in the past, or maybe it's an abusive family member who then comes to a family gathering, and that may reopen old wounds, because not every family is a safe space. Yeah, not every home is peaceful, and we know that. Now, another issue is grief. Christmas can magnify the absence of those who have passed away, especially persons who meant a lot to us in the past, and the songs and traditions that may come up around Christmas time may bring up familiar scenes in our minds, but with the person absent, and that can cause a lot of pain for persons who are experiencing it. So just to the listeners out there, if this is you and you're feeling lonely or grieving, I want you to know that your feelings are valid, and you're not failing at Christmas. You are human, and you actually deserve compassion, and especially from yourself, because a lot of persons have that difficulty offering themselves that compassion, because they feel I should not be feeling that way because this is a festive season, and that's not true. We are all human and we all feel. Yeah? So what we need to do to cope, I suppose, is acknowledge emotions instead of suppressing them. So persons need to give themselves permission to feel. I mean, that is something I see so many times. Persons who telling themselves, I should not be feeling this. That's not fair to to you and what you're feeling. Because if you're feeling sad, or you're feeling angry, or you're feeling lonely, or you're feeling anxious, why shouldn't you be feeling it? You're feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so give yourself permission to feel. What we can do as well is to reach out intentionally. A short phone call, and I know a lot of persons who will say, this person or that person only reaches out when they want something. Yeah, so just reach out. Just a voice note. This is, we're big on voice notes. So just to say, hey, are you okay? I'm just reaching out just to check on you, to make sure that you're okay. You don't have to need anything from the person. Yeah. So maybe even walking with somebody. Connection doesn't always mean a big gathering. Yeah, small connections can go a long way. I mean, even if old traditions bring sadness, maybe we can build a new tradition. Something that doesn't involve too many reminders of something in the past that would cause somebody with grief or who's carrying grief to be triggered around that time. Yeah. And what persons tend to forget is that social media highlights are not reality. And comparison steals joy. And I mean, there's been a lot of research around comparison as well, social comparison. And it's one of the major predictors of poor mental health as well, especially in women. Yeah, and I think one of the stats that persons need to be aware of, girls and women, the more time that they spend on social media, the more the risk for depression increases significantly.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So people are not aware of that. So
now, how so?
Because of the comparison that happens on social media. A lot of social media has to do with social comparison. So they see pretty faces, or so-called pretty faces, slim bodies, and so on, and they
big butts.
Exactly. So they compare that to themselves, and if they don't fit into that mold, the belief of I'm not good enough comes up, and that can trigger a lot of depression in especially in women.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as significant in men. Men, usually it's the gaming and so on that causes anxiety in boys and men. Yeah. So remembering that meaningful moments are more healing than material things. Yeah. And growing up, I remember, I'm sure you can remember as well, the midnight mass, and then after midnight mass, you'd go home and have your sorrel or whatever it is to ringing Christmas or New Year, and you would have a family gathering and persons just giving jokes and goofing around and so on. These are small connections that can go a long way. I mean, just thinking of those moments from the past bring warmth to my heart. Just thinking about
That's
it.
True.
So families who have not had that kind of connection, it's very difficult for them, because they have nothing to look back on and say, I wish my life was still like that. And if that is connected to a death of somebody who was significant in that era, then it can be very painful for the family member experiencing it. Yeah. So let's move on to the surprisingly powerful micro moments of connection. And there was a psychologist who described micro moments as small, brief moments of shared humanity that actually lift our emotional state. So something simple as a warm good morning, a shared laugh. I know sometimes when you tell somebody good morning, they ask you, if they're grumpy, they ask you, what's good about the morning? But it's still a micro moment of humanity. So even sitting with someone without checking your phone, volunteering for an hour or for a few minutes, listening and truly listening to someone, that's important. So we have difficulty doing that because when we hearing a person speak, we tend to want to interrupt, or we tend to have our viewpoints, and we want to give that out instead of listening to what the person is saying. And in a lot of moments of conflict, that can be an issue that can be resolved just by you listening to what the person is saying, not giving your input. Because sometimes persons just want to be heard. Another thing that we can do is send a message to someone that we haven't spoken to in a while. So what these micro moments do is they accumulate, and it's similar to trauma. So when you have the small, what we call small T traumas, small moments of neglect and speaking harshly to somebody, and so on, those small moments may accumulate and increase our stress response and our fight or flight response, and that chronic stress can have its deleterious effect on our system. And it's the same thing with the micro moments. They can add up and actually bring down our cortisol levels and cause us to feel safer in the different environments that we're in. Yeah, so they help us cope with our holiday stress by reminding us that we actually do matter to someone. Yeah. So yeah, this year I want to just encourage everybody to adopt what I call, I think we can call it a Christmas Connection Challenge. Yeah. So choose one person, and especially someone who may be isolated or widowed, or living alone, or elderly, or struggling, and make an intentional effort to connect. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be anything that we put on social media. So just a short visit, or a plate of food, or a message that says thinking of you, and that can go a long way in causing or bringing that connection, that human connection that we would benefit from in the long run.
Do you think this still happens a lot in our society? People coming to check on you, coming with a plate of food or some sorrel, as you said earlier. Yeah. Do you think that permeates our society?
I know that it happens, but I don't think it's as big as it used to be in the past. Because in the past, I mean, I don't know of any neighbors that would go without food over Christmas, or that would struggle in that way. Mm-hmm. Because we really used to look out for each other. Yes, people used to be fighting, or you had enmity and so on, but around that time, persons really used to look out for each other.
But what do you, Dr. Gilead, what do you think happened?
Well, a lot has happened, Andre. We have focused a lot on material things, and we have moved away from the human side of who we are. So I think society, I mean, I don't want to place blame on anybody, but society has really moved away from people into things. Mm. So a lot of the times I hear persons talking about buildings and roads and physical things, and they're neglecting the people that will be traveling those roads, or the people that will be in those buildings, and their health, their mental health, their sense of connection to each other. Because if you, for example, if you're building a community, let's say you clear out your land and you want to put houses there, those houses will be filled by people. Now, those people, what you may find is that none of them know each other. Whereas in the past, you'd have the neighbor going to the next door and saying, hey, I just want to welcome you to the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Or I am whoever, and, if you need anything, check on me. Yes. Stuff like that. That doesn't happen anymore. No. People put their dogs in the yard, they fence up the yard, and it's a small community, so you know who the persons are, but you don't know the person. And that it takes away from the connection that we used to have in the past. I mean, I always hear people boast about how in the old days you could sleep with your door open. How many people can do that now?
Yeah, I mean, once upon a time we had no burglar bars. Mm-hmm. That didn't exist at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, let me just add another one: the walls as well, with separate the
buildings.
The buildings.
Mm-hmm. Or
that did not exist at all. Mm-hmm. So you just leave your home, go to the other person's yard and so on, and you're right now everybody has dogs and so on, and that's because of a shift in terms of people now who become a threat now to the community in theft and so on, this sort of thing.
I mean, theft has always been there, Andre. I don't know any time that you didn't have thieves. I'm sure if you look back, at times you'd hear people running down the road shouting "Chebe," "Vole," and stuff like that. That has always been there. What has now happened is that there's been an increase in gun violence and more. Before it was petty crimes. Right now it's a lot more serious crimes that persons are fearful for their lives and the lives of their family members.
Mm-hmm.
So they do their best to protect themselves, which is,
yes,
is warranted
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, in a lot of the cases rather. However, it doesn't change from the fact that we now don't check on our neighbors, or we don't care to know who our neighbors are, or we don't care that our neighbors check on us or know who we are, because we probably say they come and mind our business, or they're jealous of us. This kind of story,
kind of thing.
which may not happen.
Let me just take a little break. Dr. Gilead, we'll come back. When we come back, I'll give the numbers to call, right? So hopefully we can get some calls from our listeners and viewers in St. Lucia and, of course, in the diaspora. So this is Mind Matters, the final program for 2025 until, of course, 2026 when we recommence. Brought to you the compliments of Forsyth.
Mental health is the foundation of our well-being, yet too often it's overlooked. At Forsyth Mental Health Solutions, our team, led by a licensed psychiatrist, provides personalized assessments and treatments for depression, anxiety, psychosis, dementia, and more, bringing expertise, compassion, and solutions that make a real difference. We also provide forensic psychiatry assessments, mental capacity evaluations, and workplace training and seminars, giving organizations the tools to support employee mental wellness. For more information or to schedule a consultation, visit us at the Top-of-Your Hospital, New Wing, Castries. Call 459-2234, send a WhatsApp message to 584-9498, or email us at forsych.mhs@gmail.com. That's forepsych.mhs@gmail.com. Our professional staff will be more than willing to assist you. Visit Forsyth Mental Health Solution and let us build a future where mental health is prioritized. Because when minds thrive, so do people.
And this is the live broadcast of Mind Matters with Dr. Julius Gilead. Let me just give you the numbers that you can call if you'd like to ask Dr. Gilead any questions or make any comments, etc., etc. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. Again, the fixed line 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971. This is Mind Matters, the final program for 2025. Dr. Gilead, welcome back.
Thank you, Andre. One of the things I want persons to know, there are also some myths around the holiday season. So persons believe that suicide rates increase during the holidays, and that's not true. Most countries actually show a decline in December with rates and rises again in January. And I suppose because nobody has money in January, and then persons can meet their financial obligations. So we have to be careful in January that we look out for those persons who would have incurred debt and may not be able to meet their obligations.
Well, it's like Elvis Presley said, if every day could be like Christmas, what a wonderful world. Because imagine, you just made a good point there. We look out for each other, as you said there, because the custom sort of dictates that around December. But when January comes now, I guess we go back to our
and it's not
lives.
just that, but in Christmas, the holidays are emotionally difficult, but the thing is, most persons either lean on persons for emotional support, or to avoid impulsive behaviors, or to basically lean on the family, to reach out to the family for the support that they need around that time. Loneliness actually is a public health issue that is neglected for the most part.
I think I remember reading earlier this year, it had become like a crisis in New York in particular.
Yeah, in 2023 actually it was declared an epidemic.
Yeah. Wow, that I can't even begin to wrap my mind around that sort of thing, that it could be so bad.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of research around it. So loneliness actually increases the rate of stroke by 32% on the risk for stroke. It actually increases the risk for heart disease by 29%. It actually increases depression and anxiety even more significantly than these other two.
But what do you think could be happening in this, like New York State? What would lead to something like that happening?
The loneliness epidemic in those countries, Andre. I'm sure you've lived there.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And these countries are the most disconnected places on the face of the earth.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. I remember when I first went to the U.S., I stayed in a place called Worcester in Massachusetts, and I was staying with my cousin, and my cousin had this 3-story building, and he was renting all three floors, and I stayed there for maybe about a year, and between that time, I only saw one of the tenants, I think, once.
Yeah.
We're in the same building, and I just didn't see them.
So it's either they go out early to work and come back late, or they just don't care to know who else is in the building. And that is not healthy, not for them, nor for anybody else in the building.
And of course, if I might say the same thing for New York as well, because I lived there. I lived there for about 4 years, and it's basically the same thing. Wow.
Yeah. So what people don't realize is that social connection actually boosts our resilience.
So apparently something was happening in New York that would have been clear that there was a crisis. So maybe, as you said a while ago, there are rates of illness and so on, or suicides. Something must have been going on for them to declare that to be a major challenge.
Yeah. I guess they noted the drastic increase in illnesses, in stroke, heart disease, and mental illness. So I mean, as I said earlier, connection decreases our cortisol levels, and anybody who's listening can just Google the effects of cortisol on our brain and body, and what you will see will amaze you. So if you have something that decreases those effects, reach out to it, hang on to it, reach out to somebody and do your best to try to connect with them.
So you're saying social media doesn't really help in that,
no,
in that regard?
Social media doesn't help with connection. Social media puts us face to face with social comparison, and that in itself can...
Because this is almost like what the mode of communication right now. I find people tend to look, it feels that way, they feel a lot more comfortable just sending you a message than just calling.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing that you're typing, you could just call and say it. We seem to feel more comfortable just typing a message.
Yeah. So doing that, although it may maintain a shallow connection with somebody, the deeper connection that is built by calling. Yeah, it could be a video call, but you're calling the person and you're interacting with them. What that does is that it builds resilience. And persons may believe that sometimes the person may bring up some kind of conflict that makes them feel uncomfortable, but dealing with conflict actually helps build your, what we call conflict resilience as well. Because if you're never in conflict with anybody, how do you know how to deal with it? It's like riding a bike. If you never ride a bike, how do you know how to ride a bike? You have to ride and fall. And there's a young lady who I call my daughter in Canada who went roller skating last week, and she had the pictures, and she said she's not ever doing that again because she fell. But that's when you have to do it, because you fall, you get back up. You fall again, you get back up. That's how I learned to ride roller skates when I was young. Not one or two guiji I get. That's how I learned to ride bicycle. Yes, that's how I learned to climb trees. And that's how we learn, and that's how we build on our resilience. And it's the same thing with conflict, and the same thing with relationships. If we stay away from people, we never learn how to deal with people. We never learn how to connect with people. We never learn how to ask for what we want. We never learn how to express our needs. We never learn to tell persons how we feel. Yes? So we have to push ourselves into those situations where we're actually able to express ourselves authentically. Otherwise, we feel lonely, we feel detached, our cortisol levels spike, and then we put ourselves at risk for all kinds of mental and physical illnesses.
And you hear people say things like, I don't have friends. They actually say those things.
Yeah. I mean, it always amazes me when I hear people say that they don't like people.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for another show.
But the social media thing about communicating, since I mean, I have my own business now. There's some, I'm not used to this thing about communicating via
text.
I don't like it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I realize every time I message you message me like 5 or 7 business days later.
I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I prefer talking, right? And I've noticed that in many of the clients, you're communicating with somebody via email, especially they like this email thing, and you have no idea who you're communicating with. You have no idea. There's just no communication in terms of actually seeing and meeting this person, and I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't like it.
Yeah, even those persons who in marketing,
and I'm expected to get in line.
Yes, I find if you in marketing, you're able to market your product better by speaking to your customers, and a lot of persons prefer to write. And I mean,
yeah, everything's an email.
Yes.
Email. I mean, I understand that you're doing something and you get to the end of it, there's a contract and this sort of thing. I understand that, but prior to that, there's just no literal, thing like you. Because right now we still have the fixed lines, right? We do have fixed lines up to now, and I suspect in the not too distant future, this thing may become obsolete.
I mean, I had one at my home up to a few years back, and I realized
I still have one home.
Nobody calls it.
So, when mine rings, I like.
You wonder
I'm startled.
What's ringing?
I'm startled. Like what's going on? It sounds so strange.
Yeah, I mean, So I mean, connection is a huge factor in that it decreases our cortisol levels, and especially for this holiday season, we need to think of practical ways to reach out and connect with people. One of the things we can do is there's something called a 222 Christmas rule, where persons can reach out to 2 persons who they haven't spoken to all year. That's 1-2. 2 people who might be lonely. So I'm sure all of us know people who are lonely or who may be lonely. Persons who have lost a family member, who don't have much social support, and who don't go out much and are just home most of the time. So reach out to 2 of those persons, and maybe even 2 persons who supported you during 2025. So if you think back, Andre, especially you with the issues that you've gone through during this year, I'm sure you can think of at least 2 persons who have supported you in 2025, and just reach out to those persons. They may be going through their own stuff, and they may appreciate just a call. Hey, how are you doing? Thank you for reaching out to me or for supporting me during the year, and I wish you the best for the Christmas. And that makes a world of a difference.
True.
For a lot of persons. So I would say, even with families, put your phones down during the Christmas season. I mean, it's too much time is spent on our phones when we are with our families, and that is why our children go hide away and get so deep in their devices, because we don't make time for our children. We prefer to be texting or scrolling mindlessly through social media, and that will continue throughout the season if we don't make a conscious effort or an intention to put it down and choose our family over our phone.
True.
Yeah.
And friends as well. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I remember some time ago. In fact, every time I drive through that place there, Baccarat, that's what it's called. It just amazes me. You've seen guys on the block, seated, standing, and all of them just in the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, before you'd see guys giving jokes, talking, laughing, and so on, and everybody on the block now on the phone, and then they connected. Yeah. So even small acts of kindness over the holidays. So hospital visit, and I know a lot of the churches and other ministerial, I don't know if you want to call them that, the faith-based groups tend to do that. So drop food for someone, donate a toy or toys that you're not using, or you buy a toy and donate it to somebody. Help an elderly neighbor decorate or visit them, even better. Offer transport to a church service to somebody who doesn't have or can't make it. And maybe even a mental health self-check-in. So ask yourself, how am I really feeling this season?
You asking yourself that, Dr. Gilead?
I mean, I always ask myself that every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to bed. How am I really feeling? What do I need? And that is an issue with a lot of persons. What do I need? They have no clue. So ask yourself that in response to that, what do I give to everybody else? And that's usually what I need. So if you find yourself always sitting and listening to people, it's possibly what you need.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself always giving people money or giving gifts and always being there, being present for people, that's possibly what you need. You understand? So what do I need? Maybe what you give to everybody else. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So what would help me feel connected? So asking that and coming up with ideas on what you can do to help yourself feel more connected with other people. And it can be terrifying for some persons who are socially awkward, for example, or who have social anxiety. But like I said, if you don't do it, you never learn to do it. So if you hide away, you would never learn to overcome the social anxiety. You have to face it. And if you need mental health help whilst facing it, then you get mental health help as you can. There are counselors at the wellness center. There are counselors at the how you call it? That place on Chaussee Road.
Crisis Center.
Crisis Center.
Sorry.
Rise. Is it Rise or no? The other place. I forgot the names of the places, but but there are counselors available for free, or if you can afford, you make an appointment to see a counselor just to get some tips on how can I boost my my social connection, whether it be during the holidays or year round. But we as human beings, the more socially connected we feel, the better for our mental and physical health.
Let me just give the numbers again. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710. Or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. And this is Mind Matters with Dr. Julius Gilead, the final program for 2025. We have, 14 minutes to go on the show.
Yeah, so one of the things that we cannot miss out is that what December in St. Lucia brings. And it brings more rum shops. It brings more work parties. It brings drinks with friends. It brings fetes and gatherings, all of which involve alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to keep in mind that alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. Yeah, so I'll say that again. Alcohol is a central nervous system depressant.
Really, I think you need to explain that.
So it can cause depression. It can cause drowsiness. It can cause difficulty with coordination. It can cause impaired decision making. It can actually open the gateway to other drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And so alcohol, I never recommend anybody to use alcohol at any point because it impairs your ability to deal with your environment.
So how does it cause depression when it makes you feel nice?
Yes, it makes you feel nice, but then afterwards, the depression sets in. Or those persons who are more prone to depression, whilst they use alcohol, they become depressed because of the effects that it has on the chemicals in the brain. Yeah, so usually what you find in the persons who it makes feel nice are those persons who have social anxiety. So the nice feeling that they get, it's because they feel a lot more disinhibited. So you could say that the brakes come off. So they're able to talk more freely, they're able to interact more freely. But then it is not them being their true selves in those moments. It is a mask that they would have to put on. And once the alcohol wears off in 3 to 5 hours, then what then? They're back to their old lonely self.
Mm-hmm.
So the alcohol does not help in the long term with regards to that. Yeah? So, yeah. So I encourage moderation, and I encourage persons to hydrate as much as possible and try to socialize authentically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the holidays also bring family tensions, and the tensions can be avoided by persons taking a step back during a moment of tension, you could call it, or conflict. There's a method that I teach all my clients, or those clients who have a lot of difficulty in those situations. It's called STOP. So the S is for stop. So either stop physically, mentally, or tell yourself in your mind, stop. The T is for take a step back. So whether it is in your mind or physically take a step back. So you take a step back and you observe. That's the O. Observe exactly what is happening and not what you interpret is happening, because a lot of the times what is happening is not what is triggering us, but it's our interpretation of it. Yes, and that interpretation is called a judgment. So it's us judging what is happening. So observing objectively what is happening, and one of the things I tend to do is I take a helicopter view. So I imagine myself above looking down to see exactly what is happening and not what my brain is, the stories that my brain is starting to create about what is happening. And after I observe it, then I decide how to proceed mindfully. So that's the P. So how do I proceed from here without causing further rift, further anger for myself, for the person, further frustration, further sadness, whatever else, whatever other emotion is coming up? How do I proceed? Whether it is I step away, whether it is I confront what is happening, whether it is I mediate and come to a common ground with the person, but how do I proceed mindfully for my benefit and likely for the benefit of the other person as well, especially if it's a relationship that I care about. Yeah? So persons using skills like this to navigate conflict when it appears, especially in the holiday season. Yep. Now, December is also about inner reflection. I know a lot of persons who, as the year ends, especially, they tend to look on their year and try to figure out what happened well for them and what did not happen that they wanted to happen, and what I don't like to use the word bad, but bad things happened for them during the year. So a lot of the things that you can do, one of the things you can do is journal. And some of the journaling prompts may be what challenged me in 2025, what strengthened me, what supported me, what am I proud of, and what am I releasing before I go into 2026. Because a lot of us tend to carry a lot of burdens that are not ours, especially those of us who tend to be people pleasers. So we carry around everybody's burdens, including ours, or we carry around burdens from the past, or burdens that have not happened from the future. And 2025, December may be a time to unpack that big bag of burdens and choose what you want to bring to 2026. Because you don't have to bring everything to 2026. Doing that may cause a lot more stress in the coming year, and maybe one of the major factors that cause a lot of us to put down our intentions for the year by the time it is the second week in January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So one of the things I want to remind persons is that everybody deserves the same kindness that they give. A lot of persons believe that they don't deserve kindness, and you'll be surprised. That's one of the major themes in my practice when persons come to me. They beat up themselves a lot. Why? Because they don't deserve to be told nice things, or to be given nice things, or to receive anything nice. And so we...
Any idea as to why that's happening? Why somebody feel that way?
The upbringing, a lot of those persons grew up in very dysfunctional households where their needs were not important. So the needs of the parents or the needs of other family members were more important than their needs. And so they grew up with that belief that my needs are not important. And so they find one of the beliefs is that I'm not valuable, basically. I'm worthless. So they don't deserve anything good to happen to them. So when good things do happen, and it's always funny when some of my clients end up in healthy relationships, they're surprised and they're like, they're confused, like, I don't know how to behave in this relationship because it's the first time I've been in a healthy relationship with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the belief that they don't deserve to being in that kind of relationship, and it's something that we always have to work through.
So can people who are that way still be successful?
Yes, they can. Most of them are successful, but they don't believe that they are. They still believe, well, they have what we call imposterism. So they believe that somebody going to discover that they're horrible at what they do, and in spite of everybody telling them you're amazing, they still believe somebody going to discover that I'm horrible at this, and then it's going to be a big disaster.
Wow.
And some of those persons are actually paralyzed at times. They procrastinate a lot. They're terrified of meetings, of reports, and those things.
Is it possible?
Assessments.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
No, go ahead.
So is it possible that these people can become future leaders, still being that way?
Yes, and those persons, some of them are leaders, but they are that way. So it's like I said before, a lot of us carry masks.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk around with masks, and persons don't know what is really going on inside of us. Yeah? So yeah, I guess as we wind down, I just want persons to think about some reflection. So what nourished your spirit this year? What did you nourish? Who can you reconnect with before the year ends? And how can you offer yourself kindness as you move into 2026? Yeah? So connection is the greatest gift that you can give and receive. And as a psychiatrist, I can tell you this with confidence. Human connection heals the mind, it lowers stress, it protects against depression, it helps us live longer and healthier lives. So I guess this holiday season, reach out, be gentle to yourself, and make space for others. This is not just about you, it's about a community. Yeah? So I see we have no callers today, Andre.
Well, I think that has to do with the fact that
the transmitter.
Yeah, we're down in the north, yeah, where we have the bulk
sad.
of our listeners and callers.
Yeah, very
Yes.
sad. I'm actually driving out, not able to listen to Lotus before. I like to listen to Lotus.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
So we will meet again in the new year. Until then, I just want to thank Rev-Up for allowing me this platform. And yes, take care of your mind and take care of each other.
Thank you, Dr. Gilead, and I also have to thank you for your service. Thank you very much. You've only been with us for a couple months.
It's in September.
Yeah, so hopefully that we can look forward to a much longer lasting relationship.
Yes, I'm hoping.
Yes, for sure. Looking forward to it because you're making a great contribution to our country.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So all the best to you.
Yeah, somebody yesterday was chastising me as to why isn't the government not paying for this since this is a public service. It's not a government service. It's me giving my time to this service, and the person was not happy. was not impressed by my response.
Yeah. All right. Well, you never know. Things happen.
Yeah. Let's see if the government service is listening. So
exactly.
Maybe sponsor us.
Exactly. Okay, Dr. Gilead, thank you very much. Do have yourself a nice day. And of course, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Same to you, Andre.
Thank you very much.
Remember to reach out if you're feeling lonely.
I'll remember that. Thank you. This has been the final Mind Matters on Rev-Up St. Lucia with Dr. Julius Gilead. Until the new year, when we'll be presenting the next program, and we'll certainly let you know exactly when we're going to be recommencing in 2026. In the meantime, just like to remind you that Mind Matters brought to you with the compliments of Forsyth.
Mental health is the foundation of our well-being, yet too often it's overlooked. At Forsyth Mental Health Solutions, our team, led by a licensed psychiatrist, provides personalized assessments and treatments for depression, anxiety, psychosis, dementia, and more, bringing expertise, compassion, and solutions that make a real difference. We also provide forensic psychiatry assessments, mental capacity evaluations, and workplace training and seminars, giving organizations the tools to support employee mental wellness. For more information or to schedule a